everybody. Hey, how's it going? All right. This story took place back in high school, so I'd say about like 8 years ago or so, which, I mean, it sounds really long ago for me, and like, I'm sure that all you're like, rolling your eyes like, oh God, 8 years ago, like, I only had 2 kids and not 3, like, I'm like. But anyway, back in high school, we used to, some friends and I used to play pickup football games at a local high school, and it's like a Friday night thing. It was, unless, the local high school was playing football and we went somewhere else or whatever. But it was one night, we're all there, we're getting together, and it's taken forever to get the game started. Like, people keep coming, like, someone's like, got to leave, pick up their brother in mom's car, like, it wasn't available before, so they have to like walk and get it, and like someone else's like shoes aren't working, they're like rooting through their trunk for like their cleats, and like, there were 2 people, like people that had like cleats and people that didn't, and if you didn't have cleats, then you'd be sliding around, and it's just, but this guy had cleats, he had like real soccer cleats and all. Anyway, people just, the dumbest things, took forever to get started. So finally get started, right? Probably playing for like 10 minutes. And this like guy, these 2 guys, like start walking over to the field, right? And I saw him kind of milling around beforehand, and the one guy's like kind of like lumbering over, like his pants don't fit right, but like he's in like sort of a huff, like he's like angry about something. So he gets over, and by this time everybody's like kind of walks in, like, what's this guy, what's the big deal? And he's like, did one of you call my friend? He had another guy a little bit taller than him, just kind of followed him over. Did one of you call my friend a pussy? And everybody's like looking at each other like, wait, what? Like, we're like, no, man, like nobody, like who are you? What are you doing? Like you just like appeared like out of nowhere. And he's like, no. Like I heard one of you say it. I'm like, everyone's like, no, back and forth. I mean, this went on for like probably a couple of minutes. So finally I go, listen, man, like, nobody here called your friend anything. Like, I don't even know who you are. Like, you just, like, kind of came over here, and, I mean, he seemed intoxicated, so I'm like, yeah, and it seems like, you've had a bit to drink. You're a bit drunk, maybe, and, like, you thought you heard something. I mean, no big deal, but, like, maybe you should just, let it go. So he's like looking at me, and he's like, so you're calling me a drunk? I'm like, no, not like, you're not like a drunk, like you're drunk, like, like as an adjective, like not like, as a noun, like I don't even know who you are, like I've never met you before, I'm not gonna make like a judgment call as to, your drinking habits. I'm just saying, like, you should, meanwhile I'm saying this and everybody's just like laughing, and I'm like, and you can tell that he's like, thinking that they're laughing at him and not like just the situation, which like, I mean, I felt kind of bad. I'm like, I don't want to humiliate this guy. I mean, I just pointing, out what was going on. And he's just like, huh. And I'm thinking like, what's this guy's game? Like, what's he trying to get us to like say, yeah, no, we called we were making fun of him. And we don't like him, we don't like you, and how he got this idea. It's like not like he was within earshot of any of us. So I say this, and I see he's kind of like getting irritated, and I'm thinking like, is this guy gonna like take a swing at me? Like, and I'm thinking like, well, he's like smaller than me, and like he's also drunk, and like all my friends here. So like, so I'm thinking like, I'm like going through all the stuff in my head, and like, well, I wasn't too hard on him, like, it's like I felt like I was, in the right, like, both like, in terms of rationally and just me being able to kick his ass. So I'm like doing like this arithmetic in my head, thinking like, okay, well, this adds up, like this is fine, like just let's see what happens next. I'm thinking, yeah, things are gonna be fine, whatever. And I'm thinking, well, what if he has a gun? And it's like, at that moment, he pulls out a gun. And I'm like, oh, God, like that's, okay, all right. And it wasn't like he just pulled it out, like, it was like in the movies, because, like, someone will explain to me later, how, like, adrenaline or whatever, but, like, it slowed down. So, like, he, like, pulled it out, and, like, I saw, like, the detail on the gun, and, like, it was almost like he did it a few times, and it was, like, slightly different angles. And it was just like, I'm like, whoa, like, just like, I'm like, is this even happening right now? Like, I don't even understand. And so after like the slow motion stops, like everybody who's like by this time hung around, like, cause listen to us talk, just bolts. Like, I mean, I'm gonna say like 2/3 of the people just are gone, like gone, all directions. Kid that's like having trouble with his shoes before, of course, slips, like just falls on his face because he never found his cleats. The other kid like wasn't even my friend. My friend's like 14-year-old brother like runs like jumps into his mom's van and like peels out of the parking lot. Like doesn't even have a license. My other friend's like behind him. So I'm like left standing here with like a few of my friends, and I'm thinking like, oh, all right, well, I mean, I want, all right, well, what's gonna happen, And and one of my friends is like, this is like a few moments past, and one of my friends at the parking lot yells to me, I called 911, Bill. Like, and I'm like, thank you. All right. And so this time I'm like looking at the guy, I'm like, all right, man, like your friend's not a pussy, You're not drunk. You're not drunk at all. In fact, you're not drunk, you're not drunk, you're like paragon of moderation. Just like, I mean, I'm sure you're a great guy. And I'm just kind of rattling off all this stuff. And by this time, like, his buddy, who like hasn't like said a word to his boy, he's like, yo, the cops are going to come, man, like, So like they just sort of like just scamper off. Like, I mean, just they like disappear, right? So like there's like some of my friends are still there, and usually after games a lot of time when we'd play, like pickup games, we go to a local diner and like eat food, and like it was like almost my favorite part. It's like my second favorite part because it's got like real bad like diner food and all. So I'm like, well, you want to go to the diner? Like, I mean, I didn't even get like a full night of like playing football in. Like, it's like the week, but like I didn't get, but I was not going to go home. I mean, like, they all lived in that town. I lived like 20 minutes away. So like, no, man, I'm just going to go home. Like, all right, so I'm like, I drove home. I get home, and I'm at my house, and I'm like, well, I mean, I'm just going to go to bed, I guess. Like, all right, like, so I call my buddy. It's like 20 minutes later. I'm like. Because I saw he called me, and I called him back. He's like, yeah, he's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm at home. I'm like, where are you? He's like, I'm at the police station. I'm like, the police station? Why are you at the police station? Well, like, here they, like, him and a couple of the people who are still there, we're, like, picking the guy out of, like, the local high school's yearbook. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, do the police want me to, like, come? And he's like, I could, like, hear him, like, picture him on the phone. Like, yeah, do you want him to come? No, I hear, like, some cop, like, respond, like, who is he? Where does he live? And, like, he told him. He's like, tell him, like, I just don't want to come. He's like, yeah, he doesn't, like, yeah, he doesn't, it's fine. He doesn't have to. It's okay. It's okay. So, like, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll see you on Monday. Like, I don't know. So I hang out the phone, and I'm still like, all right, I'm just going to go to bed now. So my mom, who was like, I think fell asleep on the couch. She was like watching Law and Order. I mean, she probably, or something. I mean, she did. I'm like, Mom, like, she's like, wakes up. She's like still half asleep. She's like, yeah. I'm like, I was like playing football tonight, and I got cut short because this kid pulled a gun and pointed at me, and I'm okay, everybody's okay, but like that happened, I just thought you should know. And like I knew she didn't like fully absorb it because she like just like kind of just went to bed. And she just like lay down and fell asleep again. I'm like, all right, but like whatever. So the next day's Saturday, and I slept in, and my mom like comes in, she's awake, she's like, Bill, I'm like, yeah, what's up? She's like, yeah, like last time when you came home, did you like tell me something like about like, and I'm like half asleep at this point. I'm like, yeah. Oh, the gun, the kid, the gun. Yeah, no, it's just, it's fine. It's like, well, like, who was he? Like, was he some guy? Like, I don't know. I have no idea who he was. This is some guy. And she's like, oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad you're okay. Like, it's like, and then like, that was that. I mean, it was like, didn't make any sense. Nothing came of it. Like they found him later, and like he did whatever happens when you get arrested for something like that. I mean, I told like people I knew in that town, like, well, if you hear anything, they need me to testify. Like, I'll go. But like, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like what happened. I mean, and that was it. That was my chaotic story. So.